far as surprises go for these concerts, being that it's our first time, Casablanca's first time in Spain, that in itself is a surprise enough. And judging from my past experience, every time we come to Spain, the audience is always the X factor. The audience is always the surprise factor for us because they give us so much emotion. So we'll be playing songs from our first two records. The first record, Apocalyptic Youth, and our second record, Riding the Black Swan. It just came out. And I guess the Spanish reaction is going to be what's going to surprise me the most. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice surprise.
And did you rest tracks of Roxie 77 for this concert?
That's one of those X factors that you never know about. If I'm going to play songs from, you know, my past, and because to be honest with you, this band Casablanca is I really enjoy my role in this band as being a guitar player. It's different from playing lead guitar with Alice Cooper. It's obviously different from being the front man with Roxie 77. So in this situation, it's unique. So I enjoy playing the songs that Casablanca writes. That's not to say that at any given time, if somebody yells out something from the crowd, you never know what's going to happen.
Okay, in my opinion, Casablanca is your best project since the band Electric Angels.
Wow.
Electric Angels,
well, thank you once for following Electric Angels as well.
Riding a Black is the second album of Casablanca. Do you think that Casablanca is your definitive band?
Is Casablanca my definitive band? It's definitely one of my favorite bands that I've been in as far as all the collectives that I've been in over the years. I think that it offers me a chance to do kind of what I feel I do best, which is play tasteful parts to well-written songs. And like I said, the band collaborates on the songs, but the main ideas from Casablanca's song, they come in from the bassist and the vocalist, Mats and Anders. So the whole band collaborates on them and turns them into Casablanca songs. And I feel that in my role as a guitarist, putting in my parts, putting on my solos, and changing the songs enough to put my stamp on it gives me an opportunity that I haven't had in any other situation, so it's unique to Casablanca. I enjoy that.
On the music, Casablanca is pure hard rock, and this album is softer than the last albums. It's very different from the music of other projects in the past, of Das, Porno, Knife. How did you define the actual music of Casablanca?
If you think about the differences of all the types of bands that I've been involved with, there is one common thread, and it's that there's melody, you know, hopefully a melody that is retainable after you listen to the songs, that sort of comes with all the projects I'm involved with. I was raised on pop music, and back in the day, pop music. When I was growing up, pop music is different than what pop music is today. Pop music could be, you know, Cheap Trick, I Want You to Want Me. It could be Aerosmith. It was like early Aerosmith. It was rock. It was much more rock and roll. It could also be the Bee Gees, and it could be ABBA. But back in those days, all those bands sort of influenced me to be the type of, I guess, pop music influence that I have. So the common thread with it's Dad's Porno Mag or it's Casablanca, or even the work that I've done with Alice Cooper, I always try to put my pop elements in with having a really trashy guitar sound. Because I mean, there's no doubt about it that I love loud, abrasive guitars. And I think I'm not the only one out there doing it, but I think there's a lot of people out there that will always have a love affair with a really loud guitar, and that's what I'm here to do. And then the only difference being that I always try to remember pop and melody, combine it with really harsh sounds, and you never know what can happen. I mean, for a great example of an album that did that amazingly well is Nevermind by Nirvana.
And the sound of the album is very analog.
It is analog, even though of this last Casablanca album you're talking.
Yeah.
I think it's not. The album sounds analog only because the way it was recorded was organic. It was still recorded digitally. It was recorded on a digital process, but the way we recorded it collectively, all in a room together, made it much more organic. So that's where I think you're getting that old school vibe from, and that's, I think, it comes across in the album.
All the members simultaneously.
All the members simultaneously playing.
Incredible.
Well, I mean, not that we used every single track. Sometimes we'd overdub. If someone made a mistake, you could always overdub it. And that's the beauty of digital technology, is that you can sort of fix it. But for the most part, the album was recorded in a live setting.
Okay, can you tell me about the band?
Yeah, the Casablanca band is made up of a collective of different musicians from around Sweden that all come from different types of bands, different walks of life. Our drummer, Josephine, plays in a really popular band called Sahara Hot Nights. She's the drummer in that, which is more of an indie pop band. Our other guitarist, Eric, plays in a band from Sweden called Melody Club. Our singer had a bunch of bands throughout the years. Space Age Baby Jamie was one of his bigger bands that he had in Sweden. Our bassist, Mats, he was actually a professional football player, and he played for the national team, a very popular Swedish team called AIK. And then you have my history, that comes from my own bands and Alice Cooper and so on. So we all got together and kind of agreed upon all of our favorite records. And we said, oh, do we like this record? Oh, we like this record. Okay, let's make an album that has all of our influences.
It's a mixing of all your influences.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think it's a good blend, because there's a lot of common elements that we have as a collective group, but at the same time, there are differences.
Okay. Casablanca is a good name for a band, but writer Casablanca in Google and hundreds of things appear by that name.
Yeah.
A
lot of pictures of Humphrey Bogart, right?
Company.
Yeah.
Why Casablanca?
Because for that exact reason. Because it was, I feel, something that you're very familiar with. The name Casablanca, you've heard about it. It has different connotations depending on how you look at it. It could be that the same record label that Kiss had when they were in their heyday. The Casablanca record label was a very important label for not just Kiss, but for the whole disco movement. Also, the movie was an iconic movie, but there had never been a rock and roll band that had actually gained a lot of popularity being called Casablanca. I'm sure we're not the only rock band out there called Casablanca, but I guarantee we're the only one with 2 albums out now, so I guess we have a little bit more claim to the name than anybody else at this point.
It's possible that your next band names Capital or Amy.
What would I choose if I were to take another band label? I would probably say Epic. Because Epic Records is one of my favorite labels, because my favorite band, Cheap Trick, was on Epic.
Yes.
So I always remember, live at Budokan. Yeah, of course.
And in the past, you have worked with other artists
yes.
as a session musician and live musician. Since you abandoned Alice Cooper lineup, you have edited your compositions with Roxie 77, Happy Hill, and now with Casablanca. Have you abandoned technically the work for other artists?
Have I? The question is what? Sorry. No, just the final question is, have I?
Have you abandoned?
Well, have I abandoned
the work with other artists?
No. I'm still very involved with collaborating with other artists, because I think that to actually stay working as a musician, you always have to be doing something. Even though I've been very blessed and very lucky to have Casablanca as a band, to have Roxie 77 band, to be able to go on tour with Alice Cooper, to sustain yourself as a musician, you're always looking for the next thing of what you can sort of contribute to or be a part of. And I never close the door with artists that get in touch with me and say, hey, I'd like to collaborate something. If there's time in the schedule, I usually make it happen.
Retrospective questions. With your solo career, Candy, Electric Angels, That's Pop No Math, Roxie 77, Happy Hill, and Casablanca. What was the best moments of your solo career?
The best moments of my solo career. Wow, you just named all those bands that I have like special moments at all time. I like to call, you know, those moments that you have your top 5 rock moments of all time. And but just recently I had an amazing rock moment that just took place this last New Year's Eve. I was able to finally live out like sort of a childhood dream, and I got to play a couple of Aerosmith songs with Steven Tyler. And Steven Tyler came and he did a charity event in Maui for New Year's Eve that Alice Cooper and his organization puts together. And Steven Tyler came up on stage and we jammed Dream On. We played Walk This Way and a few other songs. But then on top of everything, I think you know. I think we all know those songs. And the thing was, the sort of cherry on top of the whole thing was that I was able to play a Beatles song. And All You Need Is Love, which is a great Beatles song, and obviously the Beatles being a huge influence in my life, to sit down and learn that song with Steven Tyler in a rehearsal room, that was just like, is this really happening? So it did happen, and I'm very happy to have those rock moments.
And the musician who you have known longer was Alice Cooper.
Yes.
You have worked much with Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper, the best boss a guy could ask for. The best boss any guitar player can ask for is Alice Cooper, I guarantee you.
Yeah. All artists that have played in the lineup of Alice say very good words for Alice. Why do you abandon the lineup of Alice Cooper?
Why did I stop playing with Alice in 2006 and join up with him again in 2012? What happened was I wanted to watch my kids grow up, and we had just moved to Sweden, and we had all moved to Sweden at the time, and the kids were very small. Well, I was able to spend 5-6 years watching them turn into little adults, and I was very, very blessed to be able to see that whole process. I still worked as you know, doing my bands, doing, you know, whether it was Happy Pill or Roxie 77, or doing the Gibson clinics that I do around Europe. I was still able to stay in the same general vicinity. It just wasn't being gone for so long. And that was really important to me, like I said, to watch them grow up and be a part of their lives. So when I got the call in 2012 to come back to the Alice Cooper tour, I felt it was the right time. I was very happy that they called for once, and I was really ready to go back out. I really wanted to go back out and go back out and tour on the same level that we would always tour with Alice. And since coming back, we've been able to do some really incredible shows, and I think the band, the Alice Cooper band, right now is one of my favorite lineups that he's ever had.
What is your actual relationship with Alice?
You know, like I said, I know him he's Alice. He's one of those guys. My relationship with Alice is in a really good place. He's my golf teacher. He's my on-stage mentor. I look up to him when we're playing on stage, and I'm inspired by the energy that he gives to the crowd. It inspires me to give my energy to the crowd as well, and you get that back. And so, you know, he's an inspiration, He's a golf teacher. I told you we go golfing all the time. But at the end of the day, he's a good guy to hang out. And I'm lucky. I'm one of those lucky few that get to spend a lot of time with a guy that's had such a iconic career.
I'm trying some beautiful playing in the early diamonds and the Alice of Alice Cooper. Yes. Favorite?
I think my favorite of all those that you just mentioned is The Eyes of Alice Cooper because The Eyes of Alice Cooper was one of those albums that the whole band wrote, recorded, we hung together in the studio. Alice was a major part of it, like hanging out all the time. A lot of input from everybody was in the band, and at the end of the day, we had a laugh doing it. We had a good time writing that album, and when I listen back to it, even today, I have good memories of it, and I think that it was I'm proud to say that it was part of the Alice Cooper legacy.
Okay. Do you record in my opinion, one of the best rock albums in the new millennium, Ain't Like Grand.
With Slash's Snake Pit, yes.
One of my favorites.
Ain't Life Grand. I think Ain't Life Grand, for the people that have heard it, and I encourage you to illegally download it right now. If you've never heard of Slash's Snake Pit Ain't Life Grand album, I encourage you to definitely download it, however means necessary. I don't care. Just go ahead and listen to the music and decide for yourself. I think it's some of Slash's best guitar playing. Again, it was a real collaborative effort. Everybody in the band was able to contribute. And at the end of the day, I think Jack Douglas, who produced the album, did an amazing job with it. And the only thing missing was millions of album sales. But hey,
It's one of my 10 favorite albums.
Well, thank you. Maybe you could buy a million copies of it and give it to your friends. Then we'd actually make some money off of it.
How do you think about the actual music industry?
I think the music industry right now is not as bad as everybody projects it. Rock and roll bands have always been underdog. There was a short time in the 80s where we were sort of on top of the heap, where guitar-driven music and hair metal, or whatever you want to call it, was popular. And so record companies really saturated it. But we've always been an alternative sort of brand. We've always been sort of from the underground in the clubs like we're at right now. So I think at this stage, the music business, rock and roll, is where it should be. We're down there making bands one at a time, like just like the way the old bands did.
What is your Spotify and other platforms?
I'm all for Spotify, digitally downloading things, because it allows you to find out about other bands that are similar to the ones you're listening to. The only thing that I ask about people using Spotify is that they don't treat a song as being disposable. Get into a song, but then give the bands a chance to listen to the album. Like the same way that we grew up on albums. I know it's a hard process because we're in a much faster digital age. But if you can get, that access to music like the way Spotify allows you to have access, listen to the entire album, and I'll bet you're gonna start falling in love with bands the way you used to.
The future of music.
To live another day playing music. That's always my goal. Whenever I look back and I said, well, I played another year, touring and going to see a lot of different places and being able to plug my Les Paul into a Marshall amp, that's a good year. And that's what I plan on doing as long as I can.
Okay, thank you very much for the interview, Ryan. Something to add for the interview?
You guys have been so supportive over the years. I appreciate anybody that supports guitar-driven music and the type of bands that we're in. Whether it's Casablanca or whether it's Alice Cooper and everything in between. We appreciate your support and always coming by and we're approaching. That's the thing. Maybe not on stage. On stage, we'll the idea is to not be approachable because you want to be rock and roll. You want to be a rock and roll star. But then when you're done playing, you always talk to the crowd. You always try to meet people, whether it's before the shows. And I always tell people, RyanRoxie.com. It's a very easy place to find me, and I have my freaking email address on there if you want to get in touch.
Okay, Ryan.
Thanks.
You are a great Metalzone is your house. On stage is your house.
Thank you, guys.